So first of all, we have here the Ten of Swords and the Seven of Pentacles. And let me talk about these two cards in tandem, because I feel like for many of you, you're going through this very reflective, introspective mode, and you're trying to, you're looking at events from the past. You're looking at everything that you have done. Okay, he's got a broom in his hand, little red broom right there, and it's like cleanup. Okay, major cleanup, major repairs, major like overhaul. Okay, like I feel like it's cleanup, cleaning up the pieces of your life, cleaning up a situation that has gone astray, cleaning up a situation that has gone awry, cleaning up after a potentially like an aftermath of some event that was not completely desirable. Okay, cleanup is messy. Cleanup is no one wants to do it, honestly, and so I feel like there's a situation here where something needed to be cleaned up. And you've gone through that process of cleaning up, and you're sitting still, contemplating and trying to figure out, what was that all about? What could I learn from it? Why did it happen? Why did these events happen the way in which they did? And, how do I ensure that it doesn't happen again in the future? I feel like there might have been a falling out, okay, between you and another person. I have here the Ten of Swords. And the Ten of Swords is sort of like being very hurt by the actions and the words and that somebody, it's like somebody saying something or doing something to you that is very, very hurtful. Okay. And with the Ten of Swords, it's like, whoever that's launching the swords, they had 10 tries and they hit the target every single time. So it feels like it's very personal. It feels like very directed. And it feels like, I feel like somebody really hurt you. Somebody might have said things that really triggered you. Somebody might have aimed for your weak spot. Somebody might have, kind of like hit below the belt or targeted you in a way where it was very directed. It was very purposeful, and it was done in a way that was like, there's no coming back from it. There's no way to say, oh, I'm sorry, and make the situation go away. There's no reviving the situation. There's nothing that anyone can do now to make all the pieces come back together. And so I feel like there was a situation in your life that has, ended, and it ended in a pretty crappy way. And so you're looking at the aftermath. You're looking at, why did this person do what they did? Why did they behave in such a manner? What did I do to deserve this? And are they aware of how much they've hurt me? Are they aware of, how sensitive I am? Because Cancers, you guys are very deeply sensitive. And that is why you don't go out of your way to hurt anybody. Because you understand that, words can cut and words can't be rescinded. They can't be taken back. And so I feel like you're contemplating and trying to understand the situation. Why did they say such hurtful things? Why did they do what they did? You're struggling to try to understand, like, why did they take it so personally? Or why am I even taking this so personally? And what you have to understand, though, is I feel like, there was a situation here where somebody's ego was at stake. Okay, somebody either felt very ignored. Somebody either felt very undermine, kind of like that man, it's like, I'm here, I'm trying to make you an offer, and you're not even listening to me, you're turning away, and things like that. And I feel like you were dealing with somebody, and whatever you told them, they couldn't take no for an answer. Okay, it's like telling them no multiple times. And you guys in general are not super assertive. But when you say no, and then they refuse to acknowledge your no, or they refuse to accept it, I feel then, you start to ignore it. And then I also feel like this person was like fighting for attention. This person wanted to be the center of attention. This person wanted to make themselves heard. This person felt ignored. They felt overlooked. They felt like it was really affecting their ego. And so whatever was directed at you, it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them and their insecurities. Okay, not being able to hold their own, not being able to, talk to you like an adult, not being able to kind of approach you in a serious manner and in the spirit of, resolving things rather than just blindly attacking you. So I feel like there is a situation here. And no matter how much you try to, kind of like go over the events in your head, I feel like there wasn't another way that there wasn't another outcome that could have come out of this. You did what you had to do. And I feel like whatever, toxic venom that was thrown at from the other party, I feel like they did that out of a space of weakness, and they would have done this to anybody and not just you. But they felt like they were being ignored by you. They felt like you weren't giving them the time of day, and it really upset them. And that's when they kind of spew venom. And so looking at the situation, the best thing to do is not to try to understand another person's motives, okay? A lot of the times we want to give somebody the benefit of the doubt. We want to, believe that, well, people are all kind and sweet and helpful. But I feel like in this situation, it's stirring some really, really deep-rooted insecurities within the other person. And so their emotional reaction was not rational. And so trying to, understand it, trying to make sense of it, I feel like it might not be the right way to go about it, okay? Like, why did they say these hurtful things to me? Why did they behave in that way? And their actions was not coming from a space of rationality, so don't try to wrap your head around it, okay? It doesn't make sense. Does that sound like I'm making sense? So, aside from this little tidbit, I feel like it's a conflict. It's done and over with. There's nothing to be repaired, okay? Nothing can be done. Nothing can be repaired. Nothing can be fixed. Nothing can be salvaged. So it's a done deal. And because it's a done deal, we kind of need to move on, okay? So 10 of Swords, this is an ending here. A major relationship, a major situation a major phase in your life even, has kind of like ended. You're doing the cleanup. You're dealing with the aftermath. You've already cleaned up. You've already kind of like moved away from it. But I feel like, every now and again in the first week of March, memories will get triggered. Events will trigger and bring you back to that emotional space. And don't try to make sense of it, okay? Do your cleanup. Resolve this situation within yourself and move past it. Because what is right behind you and you're kind of turning your back to is we have the Ace of Wands. And then we also have as well the King of Swords, okay? So this indicates to me a lot of new energies that are in store for you that you need to be facing head on, okay? The Ace of Wands usually indicates some type of a new project, something that is very phenomenal, something that you can kind of like carry into your future with you. It's the Wands energy is a torch, okay? It's like something that is exciting and fun and passionate, and you're going to feel very committed and very driven. A lot of the times too, it's like a whoosh, like a really fast, swift energy that denotes changes, forward movement, momentum, and it happens really, really fast. So while you're mulling over the situation, if you're too caught up in the past, this opportunity might slip you by. So you need to be very quick on the uptake, and you need to be physically looking at it, reacting to it, and grabbing it right when it comes in. Because like I said, this is very fast, and it's in an element that is counter to yours. It's a fire energy. You're a water sign. And so you need to be very decisive, okay? And the King of Swords, this is a message here about, being very, very discerning and being very decisive. Let's be honest, Cancers, I feel like decisiveness is not really your strong suit. Okay. And the best way that I can explain this, and I don't know if you might relate to this, but what I feel is like with the Cancerian people, you know how if you look at the night sky, right, every night, the moon, it changes its shape, okay? So it's like it grows bigger and bigger from a crescent moon into a full moon, and then it waxes, right? It reverts back to a crescent shape, and then it disappears. And so the phases of the moon changes, the shape of the moon changes from one night to the next. And I feel like with Cancerian people, you know, you're ruled by the moon. That's your ruling planet. And it can be a little bit frustrating to really figure out what you want, to really be 100% sure about what you want. Believe it or not, other signs don't have the same problem. They're very decisive. They know with every fiber in their being what they want to do, what they want to say yes to, what they want to accept. But I feel like for you guys, figuring out that 100% certainty has been like an uphill battle. And I feel like even when you really want something, you're never 100% sure. And I feel like from one day to the next, you know, your feelings, your emotions, your sense of decisiveness, it fluctuates. And so there might have been like a lot of opportunities where you're kind of like mulling things over, and then before you know it, the opportunity slips you by. And there might have been times when you're just kind of like thinking about all the missed opportunities, all the things that slip you by while you were waiting to make a decision. And so the message here is life is accelerating. It's not going to stop. And life is not going to put itself on hold on account of any human being, on account of a mortal. Life happens. We need to roll with the punches. And so taking the time to mull things over is definitely, you know, something that everyone should do. However, I feel like there has been missed opportunities, multiple missed opportunities. While life was throwing you curveballs, while you were distracted with other things, I felt like the more important things really slipped away. And so for the month of March, we are reminded here with the King of Swords, this is the energy about being decisive. This is sort of like looking at the past and just realizing, you know what, that doesn't serve me any purpose, wallowing in self-pity. I'm going to cut that off. And using that sword of truth here and slicing that out. And then looking towards the future, here's a good opportunity for me that will make me tremendously happy. Queen of Cups, look how ecstatic she is. This is kind of like finding that space of perfect equilibrium where you're feeling very emotionally hopeful and happy and satiated, and you have all your needs met. So I feel like there's something coming through that has a lot of potential that will make you really, really happy. And this is where your energy, your frame of mind should be focused. And so you have to be aware of the tendency to kind of like wallow in this situation and then moving away from that, recognizing when it happens, recognizing the heaviness associated with it, so that whenever that heaviness creeps in and you start to feel it in your being, right, you want to shake it off and move yourself here. Okay, so this is all about knowing ourselves really well, knowing what how we feel, knowing what's not good for us, knowing what we need to move away from, and knowing what we need to kind of like embrace and focus on, and you know, focus our energy and our resources on, because there's a lot of room for growth. Okay, so the Empress is all about that, being really in charge and secure within yourself. The Empress is about abundance. It's about creation. And it's also about like, it's somebody who's very nurturing, very caring. And whenever I think of a Cancerian person, I think of the Empress, because the Cancerian person, they will invite, you know, guests to their home. They will feed their guests. They will make sure everyone is comfortable. Everyone's happy. Everyone is thoroughly fed. And it's like being very gracious, being a really good hostess, but really caring about another person's well-being, really caring that the person has enough to eat, really caring that the person is, you know, not suffering from the cold and the heat or the chills of the elements,